Joining me now on set, Eugene Daniels, White House correspondent for Politico, NBC News political analyst. Jen Psaki, former White House press secretary for President Biden and an MSNBC host and NBC News analyst. And Brendan Buck, former advisor to Republican speakers Paul Ryan and John Boehner. I want to get something out of the way, and then I want to dig back into the elections. But you've been up there. You've had to count these noses before. You've watched speakers come and go. Carlos Curbelo made a terrific point last night. He says, you know, when John Boehner got forced out, the Republican majority was at 245. 245. Kevin McCarthy, if everything breaks their way, might get to 225. Okay? Probably not. I'd probably take the under on that. That's no margin for error here. Is he ever going to get this?
I would still, if I had to bet, I would still bet that he does. But it struck me.
Noses.
It struck me listening to Garrett say Matt Gaetz is never going to vote for him, because I think that may be true.
Right? Okay.
And he may only have 219 votes, and if that's the case,
do you know our projection right now is our projection right now is 221.
221, which is insane.
214.
Yeah, we were comfortably in the 240s for a long time. The good thing he has going for him is none of this is about Kevin McCarthy, other than maybe for Matt Gaetz. Yeah. This is not about Kevin McCarthy, and anybody who wants to be Speaker is probably going to have to make the same demands. I agree that Steve Scalise doesn't really do anything. If you're going to get rid of Kevin McCarthy, I don't know why you go to Steve Scalise. So it's less a question of who and more what.
Is there a Paul Ryan-like person? I mean, Paul Ryan was this, if you bring him in, everybody will calm down and they'll do it, and that worked for about 6 months. But
that's also not why Kevin McCarthy didn't get it the first time. It wasn't because people were clamoring for
It wasn't
Paul
about Ryan. It was more they didn't want him. Yeah.
So, no, there's no obvious next person, and there's nobody. Okay. So that's what's working in his favor. There's no obvious next person.
You know, in another, on Earth 2, it would have been Liz Cheney. Like, think about a world with no Donald Trump. Yeah. Think about a world where that never happened. Yeah.
Well, Donald Trump is
the
X factor that he hasn't weighed in yet since the election, and whichever way he goes could be really, really important.
All right, let's bring up Donald Trump, because Rupert Murdoch has weighed in, Eugene. I mean, it is pretty clear. I'm usually a little hesitant on this, but Murdoch doesn't make this stuff subtle. We've seen it back-to-back New York Post covers. We know he literally calls up New York Post editors and says, this is what I want. I think he's a little more hands-off with Mr. Gigot over the Wall Street Journal, but I don't think Mr. Gigot needed Rupert Murdoch to tell him that Donald Trump is a problem. We've been here before. Do we really think the Republicans will dump Trump this time?
It's hard to see it happen. Like, we saw this in 2016 for months and months and months. We saw this after January 6th, multiple times during his presidency. It's hard to see how they move away from him at this point. After, 6, 7 years of Donald Trump being the leader of the Republican Party, how do you say, no, never mind, we don't like him now?
Yeah, well, I'm going to put everybody down memory lane, because there's 3 moments, so we've been here before. Access Hollywood month. January 7th, 2021, and here we are today. Let's go into the Wayback Machine.
I'm out. I can no longer, in good conscience, endorse this person for president.
Well, with all due respect, sir, you, sir, are the distraction. And I respectfully ask you, with all due respect, to step aside. Step down.
From my point of view, he's been a consequential president. But today, first thing you'll see, all I can say is count me out. Enough is enough.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters.
There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day.
I mean, I think Trump's kind of a drag on our ticket. I think Donald Trump gives us problems politically. We lost the House, the Senate, and the White House in 2 years when Trump was on the ballot or in office. And I think we've just had some Trump hangover. I think he's a drag on our offices and our races.
You want to see the party move forward from Trump?
Yeah, I think moving in a different direction as we move forward is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Okay.
Well, here's the question. I mean, first of all, he's still winning among Republican primary voters also. So this notion, and Ron DeSantis, and the magic of Ron DeSantis, who had a very good week, I think we can all agree, it hasn't played out yet. Maybe we'll see over the next couple of weeks. What feels a little different now, we'll see, is that he's losing Like, he is a loser after Tuesday. Right. People he endorsed lost. He cost seats for the Republicans in the House and Senate. His presence, I mean, my bet, and I'll pose this to you, is that everybody behind the scenes who's a sane Republican is trying to get him not to announce his run before the Georgia runoff because he's such a problem. So that does feel a little different. I am also still skeptical that he is going to no longer be the leader of the party, but there are some breaks in the system a little bit.
None of those people you just showed really have a say in this matter.
That's true. And no one cares.
It used to be that there is a party.
That used to matter, actually. Yeah. Those are some fine figures that should have been influential.
There used to be a party that's job is to look for the bigger picture and look ahead down the future, and that doesn't really exist in our party anymore. It's all individual-based, and Donald Trump doesn't really care what any of those people say when he decides whether he's going to run for president again, and I think he is, and it's going to be very difficult for anybody to challenge him.
You know, ironically, Eugene, if Trump what's in the best interest of the party is actually not in the best interest of Donald Trump's chances to be the Republican nominee. I mean, if he takes a month off, that vacuum might get filled if he's not careful. And you know who knows that? He does.
He knows that. He knows that he needs to be in front of everyone. He is a flood the gates kind of person. So seeing him back away after he already promised the big thing is coming on Tuesday, guys, that makes it very difficult to see him do that. And when you talk to people, also, they've been saying on television for the first time, Republicans saying, please don't do this on Tuesday. I've told him not to do this on Tuesday. And you have a lot of Republicans, people who were in that video and in that vein of the people in that video, and also people who are not Matt Gaetz, but in that word across the spectrum of Republicans saying we don't want him to do it because the Senate matters more than his own feelings.
I want to pivot to the Georgia Senate runoff, and I want to start with you, Brendan, because I think the wild card here is what if it's not for the majority? What happens?
Well, it's certainly less important.
Yeah.
And maybe that, but I still think the Democrats have the advantage here. I think
even if it's not for the majority.
I think Herschel Walker is a really bad candidate, and he obviously trailed Brian Kemp by 4 or 5 points. And you got to think that he has even less support than that if Brian Kemp is not on the ballot. Raphael Warnock has run a good campaign throughout, and the fact that he was this close to avoiding a runoff. So I think that he has.
He's 0.4% +1 away. Would you be thinking about a recount if you were in his shoes?
Warnock?
Yeah, just to see if you could avoid the runoff.
Maybe. I think for him, though, though, I come at this from a different point of view from where you started, which is I actually think if it's not for the majority, that is to Warnock's advantage.
You think that, too?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's just more fundamentally, who's a better candidate?
Well, and also, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, it is not the dream candidate for the Republicans here. And if it were for the majority, you've heard so many of them say in your focus groups and other polls, like, he's terrible, Herschel Walker,
right,
but I want the majority.
More.
If it's not for the majority, what's the incentive? And I also think Democrats are motivated because they've seen how hard it is to have such a narrow majority, and they will throw everything in it to
get
have one extra.
And you can defang Sinema or Manchin.
Well, does Joe Manchin endorse Herschel Walker? In that case, I'm almost half.
Look at
you! You didn't laugh. I mean, that is amazing.
Do you know something we don't know?
You guys,
lots of gas.
That is hilarious. None of you thought it was immediately a joke. I really was trying to.
Wow.
It's the lack of sleep.
It is Thursday. Yes.
Okay, that I have had to check that every hour today. But the other part of this is, does this become the first sort of invisible primary between DeSantis and Trump to see who's the better surrogate for Walker?
Well, you've seen Republicans saying out loud they want to see DeSantis there and they want Trump to stay home because they saw what happened in 2020 when he went there and all he talks about was spreading the lies about the election, saying everything was about him. And so this is going to be kind of a proxy primary if Trump decides to go there or if he just stays in the media overall, because that's what's going on.
But the key here, Walker's personal friends with Trump. It's different. It's not like Don Bolduc. Right?
Sure, but Georgia has consistently beat Donald Trump over the head. I don't
it's
think
so true.
He's lost many
My goodness, Georgia's going to be in his he's going to mutter Georgia on his deathbed.
And we know that he's sore about people blaming him for some of these candidates. I don't think he's going to show up in Georgia with the risk that Herschel Walker is going to lose and have.
He walks away because he doesn't want somebody else to.
He doesn't want to be the loser.
I don't think he wants to be associated with the loser anymore. And he'll think that, well, maybe we just forgot about it. I think he's going to go run his own campaign.
I do think, to build something on Jen that you started at the beginning here, when you're like, this seems something different. He called for protesters. They didn't show up.
Yeah.
And do you know that Don Bolduc conceded,
said
thank you. It was very normal. And you're like, I think Trump, people, like when even Don Bolduc seems to not want to get on the Trump message bandwagon. Something might be changing. All right. You guys were great. It is Thursday.
Okay, I was checking myself there. I don't know. Show man for Thursday.
Thank you all.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.